That's right.
Let's do this!
We interrupt this program to bring you.
Welcome back to Strong Mid Card Podcast right here on the Strong Mid Card channel. This is Frank going solo. You know what, man? It's kind of hard to get everybody in here all at once lately, especially with all of us having crazy work schedules. So, but it's a lot of stuff going on, and I just couldn't stand to let another week go by without me, running my mouth about it. So, let's get right to it, man. Obviously, let's talk about this that's been talked about at nausea. So, let's do it anyway. Jon Moxley. Of course, making the rounds, making the news. Everybody pretty much abuzz about his shoot interview with the Talking Jericho podcast, and of course the Wade Keller podcast. If you haven't listened to it, I mean, seriously, if you haven't listened to it, you have to. It's a great listen to, man. Some comparing it as big as CM Punk's. I'm gonna say probably somewhere in the same neighborhood for sure. It's definitely, except for this one, I think has a little bit more effect. You hear about superstars in the WWE locker room agreeing with it, and names not really being thrown out there, obviously, but like you can guess probably which ones. Sasha Banks and probably those kinds of stars like that aren't being utilized very well. That should be top stars or could have been top stars. Like you probably throw Rusev in there and people of that nature. But no surprises, really, right? I mean, we all kind of knew that everything runs through Vince McMahon, and he kind of gets the last say, and that he kind of changes his mind on a whim. He can wake up one morning and want to push whoever, and wake up the next morning and push Shane McMahon as a top heel in the whole fucking company. So who knows, man? It's just crazy to think that they had such a talented guy like Moxley in there, and they pretty much let him slip through their fingers, essentially, because he was in that group with the Shield. All three of the guys were over, and they decided right away that it was supposed to be Reigns, and then to a lesser degree, and now to a higher degree now, Seth Rollins. And he was kind of left in the middle of the dwindle. I think they wanted to make him like a top mid-card guy, but obviously out of the three guys, he was the one with more personality. He was the one with more of a character, which is what you think they would want, but I guess that wasn't in their plans. They wanted the guys with the long greasy hair to be their top guy. So this guy has great comedic timing, has great character, and now is getting to express it, and that's all great for us. That leads right into his New Japan first match. Came out and had a great brawl with Juice Robinson, and I'm not big on moral victories, or the old joke that we have on this show is the Triple H joke of you'll get over by losing to me kind of thing. But I think in New Japan it's totally different. But you can totally gain like some kind of new character, new reestablish yourself even in a loss. Like Juice Robinson, I think, showed a lot of people that he can brawl with the best of them. He took a beating and he gave a beating too, man. That was probably one of the most entertaining match I've ever seen him in. And it looked like him and Moxley were just having the best of times, because it's almost like they both were able to unleash and bring this kind of like style to New Japan, and the people ate it up, man. Moxley over with the crowd. He's a star, dude, and I think everybody knows he's a star. So that was a good match. Juice Robinson, like I said, you kind of feel bad for him, because it seems like they want to start the engine with them, and then they turn it off. They don't go anywhere with it. But I think this is going to lead to something with him. Like maybe this should be a turning point in his character where he gets a little even more edgier. I know he has great backstage promos and stuff, but maybe this will lead to more of a violent side, I guess you could say, more of an edge to his character in the ring. So hopefully he gets a little rub off on Juice Robinson. And also in this past Dominion, great show, by the way. If you haven't, I'm rewatching it right now, actually, because I was only able to see the Ibushi and Naito match, and along with the main event. But now I'm rewatching the whole thing, and so far it's really a good show. Dominion always brings a good show, actually, so that's good. Yeah, at the Dominion show, he was the opening match with I think it was Umino. this is like a 7-minute squash match essentially, but with a young lion, and pretty much was set up for him to announce his entry into the G1, which is huge news, and it's awesome. And then not only that, but he also got to go over as a bit of a face by carrying his young lion, his young boy, to the back and dropping that great promo about, you know, I like this guy. This kid's gonna show me around the town, and you know, asking him if he drives. He's like, all right, man, get up, hold my belt. It's good stuff. I mean, it's good for the kid too, man. Like, if they can somehow use that in his developing character, like in the future when he gets like becomes, you know, popular, or if becomes popular, and they say all that time he spent with Moxley, that's great. Along with Moxley entering the G1, let's get right into the G1 entries. Mox being the first one, Kenta being announced or showing up to New Japan, which is big news over there, because Kenta was always seen as the Noah guy, like just the face of a pro wrestling Noah. And then of course he went to NXT, and I mean, we all know what happened there. Kind of underutilized, and you know, the injuries and all of that, and he's getting up there in age, so I don't blame him for wanting to go back in Japan. And in Japan you could wrestle for a long time, you know. Age isn't really that much of a factor, but for him, I think it's great for him to enter the G1, and what a way to make a splash in New Japan than by entering their biggest and most grueling freaking tournament. So Kenta in it too, that's amazing. I can't wait to see, you know, his matches there. Takagi also making an announcement that he's going to be entering the G1, now wanting to be a heavyweight after that amazing match with Ospreay at the Best of Super Juniors. If you haven't seen that either, check that out. I think Mr. Meltzer gave that shit almost 6 stars or something. By far my favorite Ospreay match, and maybe match of the year. It's definitely in the top 3 right now. Great match. And then I think Ospreay also made an announcement, and Ospreay has been having a great month, man. Just winning the Best Super Juniors, winning the title, and then if he, you know, he's over like crazy. Pretty much saying he's staying in New Japan, and he's gonna be one of their guys. So I know he just challenged Robbie Eagles for the Australia show. That should be fun. He enters the G1. It's, as of right now, what the guys that I just mentioned in the G1, any one of those guys seemingly can win. Like, I don't know if they're going full on with Mox and having him win the G1. Maybe he just makes a splash in it. Who knows, man? Because, you know, we haven't even announced anybody else in the damn tournament yet. Who knows who's going to be? You would have to expect like Naito and Ibushi, maybe Evil and or Sonata. Who knows, man? Maybe some Bullet Club guys, or of course some Bullet Club guys. But just, you know, it's shaping up to be a great one. So I'm definitely interested in this year's G1, and who's in the announcements coming in the future about who's going to be in it. All right, let's jump right into the Naito Ibushi controversy, and just the constant abuse of neck and head. You know, man, I've always said on this show and on some of the videos that I don't like to be the guy that tells these guys what not to do and what to do with their careers and their matches. I just watch. I understand the risk. I understand the dangers. I mean, we've seen guys get injured in the ring horrifically, careers end in the ring, lives end in the ring. That part of me, you know, I wish that they wouldn't do that, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that it didn't bring more drama to the match. Naito and Ibushi are always going to try to outdo each other, and the story of every one of their matches is that they're trying to break each other's necks, man. And I know they're both up there in age, and I know they're both a wreck body-wise, but, you know, it's not up. We can complain all we want, but it's not really up to us, man. New Japan has to kind of tell these guys, like, hey, you guys need to settle down, or you know, you're going to end up like Shibata, or, you know, worse, other guys that have passed away in there. But if you take that away from the match, it was still a great match. It was a fun match. Naito and Ibushi are always going to bring it. Just that whole the controversy with the dropping them on their heads and that kind of stuff. I mean, people had kind of I guess notions about that because of what happened at the Super Showdown with Goldberg and Undertaker, and those were guys in their 50s doing that, dropping each other on their heads because of, you know, Goldberg giving himself a concussion very early in the match. And then with these two guys, it's just two guys that are purposely trying, and they're guys in their prime, I guess, still maybe able to still do these moves. And that German release on the apron was definitely a botch, man, because they replayed it, you know, slow motion, and it's just, his head just kind of smacked, and you definitely felt like he could have broken his neck. You know, we had a broken neck earlier in the year, obviously, and it's just, I don't know, man. I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. I really can't say too much on either front. I don't want to be the guy to tell anybody how to do their job, and at the same time, I don't want anybody to get hurt, especially these two guys. I know that in the past, I've been very critical of Ibushi, but it was all in jest, man. I really do admire the matches he you know, he presents. His matches are very intense, and they're pretty much what New Japan's all about. So the fact that he's there now, I guess full time, I don't know, maybe he feels the pressure that he has to almost kill himself. I mean, he was doing crazy shit in DDT Pro, lighting himself on fire and doing all that crazy crap. And then now you get to Japan, it's almost like he has to do that hard style, that strong style, and kind of, you know, if you're going to drop somebody on their head, the move, or, you know, the guy doesn't, their head usually doesn't hit the ground, he's going to try to make his head look like his head hit the ground. So, I mean, that's just Ibushi. Naito is a crazy motherfucker too. So, in Naito, maybe, you know, the ship has sailed on what could have been his IWGP run, championship run. Because right now he's kind of stuck in that intercontinental limbo. I mean, and he said it before in the past that he hates that belt. He hates being there. You know, I think New Japan had a big opportunity with him because the crowd is still going crazy for him. If you watch Dominion when his music's coming on, his music's playing pretty damn loud. The crowd chants are over the music. So maybe they're piped in or not. I'm not sure, but Naito's still over. And I don't know. I think that Wrestle Kingdom show where he lost to Okada, I think that was a really big missed opportunity. You always got to go with the hot hand, but you know, I mean, because it was all going to lead to Okada being champion again. So I don't understand why you couldn't just give him the title and give him a nice little short run, ride out this wave of momentum and popularity that he has, and build it up to Okada winning the title back. If Okada's going to be your guy and always going to come back and win the title again, then, you know, you might as well test out other guys. You know, you tested out Kenny to see his appeal overseas, which, you know, worked. Like him or hate him, the Elite and Kenny Omega brought a lot of exposure to New Japan, and a lot of more people are watching now. So because of that, and then the Jay White, I don't know where you. I mean, a lot of people like to criticize Kenny Omega's title run. I don't hear those people saying anything when it comes to that Jay White run, because that was not pretty either. So, anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here. Jericho main event. A lot of people mad because of the Jericho match that he has now, the type of match that he has now. He's a brawler now, obviously. He's 48 years old. He's not going to be able to do the Lionheart stuff, man, so we got to get past that. As far as what I thought it was a good brawl. I thought it was like a fun, you know, brawl, great storytelling. Jericho healed it up times 100 and made Okada look like he can have this kind of match too. I think there's a few guys that Jericho's done that to. Kenny Omega too, a more vicious side came out of Kenny in their two matches. And now with, and of course Okada was going to win, and yeah, it was kind of a roll-up-y WWE kind of win, but, and I understand why people are angry, but you also got to understand that it was due to the fact that they're going to build up this Jericho versus Tanahashi match, which is, you know, two veterans going at it, and it's interesting. I definitely want to see that, but, you know, Tanahashi's kind of a clean guy, so a very clean guy, so to see if Jericho can pull him into that kind of brawl like he did with Okada, like he did with Naito, like he did with Kenny, and possibly Adam Page, it's going to be interesting to see if Tanahashi is going to be pulled into that kind of brawl. What I really want to see, I mean, you can take out Tanahashi and replace him with fucking Minoru Suzuki. That's what I want to see. I want to see Jericho and Minoru Suzuki, two old fucking grizzled fucks, just slugging it out in the ring for Wrestle Kingdom. That's my match. But, I mean, I see the Tanahashi appeal for sure, but I think there's a lot of fans out there that would love to see Jericho and Minoru Suzuki destroy each other. That'd be fun. So hopefully we get that, because that's the one I really want. I mean, Tanahashi, Jericho should be interesting, but I'm telling you, Suzuki, Jericho, Wrestle Kingdom is the fucking match to make. So hopefully we'll see what goes on from there. All right, man, let's go to WWE, and they are having a hell of a month, I guess, so far. WWE Showdown. For the most part, what I've heard is, or from what I've read, is shit show. I guess a freaking disaster backstage, and there's 100 degrees, and the matches. Some got attention, some the fans could care less about. Let's see. So let's just go straight to the two main things: the Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Baron Corbin fiasco. Baron Corbin being pushed as a main eventer is pissing a lot of people off. I agree, because Corbin is not exactly, main event material. He has X-Pac heat, I guess you can call it, go away heat. It's just, I don't know, man. He's 50-50. Sometimes he'll have a decent match, but for the most part, it just seems like when he gets these big opportunities, like something's falling flat, and maybe you can blame that on creative because of he has like a weird delivery for his promos. And anyways, the match was a regular Raw match, and Brock Lesnar comes out and fucking Heyman fumbles the briefcase and he doesn't cash in, and blah 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 blah. So how many times did that make WWE? How many times have they lied to their fans in the past week about Lesnar cashing in? A few, I would say. And they're still, it's almost like I feel like they're being held hostage by Lesnar. Like, he's losing. I get his appeal when he first came back, hit his return, but now it's just like people want him gone, but Vince is just so adamant about keeping him there that it's getting to embarrassing points. Look what's going on to the company, man. Like, even Moxley said it was Brock Lesnar's ruining your company. And you got to kind of side with him on that one. I know even the most hardened of WWE fans will go out there and yell about AEW and its core fans and shut up, AEW only had one show and yada yada yada, and WWE is the best show on earth and blah blah blah. And it's like, I understand why you're defending it, but at the same time, what about all these undeniable proof that the show is not doing great? And instead of defending it so much, maybe they should be the most vocal about getting a better show. Now, that brings up another interesting subject. Are they just loading up? Are they just loading up, waiting for October for AEW to start doing their shows? And maybe they got some in the chamber, man. Because I mean, really, Bray Wyatt's the only interesting thing there. And it's like, I want to get into it, but I'm just so scared that they're going to drop the ball with it. So I try not to pay too much attention to it or get too attached to it, because I just seen it happen before. And every time they get their hands on something good, they tend to destroy. Look what they're doing to Becky. She has to fight, what's her her name? The Southern Dixie chick, whatever her name is, Lacey Evans. And she's garbage, and it's bringing Becky down. And then if it's not her, it's Charlotte again. It's like, come on, man. Bailey, and it's just such a mess, because that also leads to the wild card crap and who's on what show and what the hell is going on. And oh my god. Okay, I'll come back to that. But Undertaker, Goldberg, flat out should not be wrestling anymore. Just straight out. I haven't liked an Undertaker match since the second Shawn Michaels one, and I was done with him after that. Honestly, he should have retired after that. Goldberg, I understand why he came back. I wasn't a fan of his little return, but whatever. It got people watching. But this is proof that these two guys should really need to hang it up, and chances are they're not. And chances are they're probably gonna do something soon. So WWE doesn't learn from its own mistakes, and they're gonna drag them out there, and they're probably gonna get hurt even more next time. So who knows? Anyways, yeah, that match was just a catastrophe with the Undertaker weird choke slam, and that Goldberg not tucking his chin in on the tombstone and hitting himself in the head on the pole, and fucked up jackhammer. And it's just, yeah, and then he collapsed when he got out of the ring too, man. It's time to let it go. It's time to let the past go. Move on. You have a locker room full of pissed off young guys, hungry guys and girls that are ready to take over, man. And you got stars, but they're scared for some reason. They just, I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna go into too much speculation here. It's pretty much an old man that wants to show everybody that he's still a genius by doing it his way. It's ego driven. So we'll see. We still got NXT. So I watch NXT. That's about it. I sometimes watch the Raw highlights and the SmackDown highlights. I'm not gonna watch the whole fucking show. And for the most part, I'll just read the websites to find out what's going on WWE wise, or it'll hit my Instagram search feed, and I'll read about it then. Let's talk about Stomping Grounds and low attendance. Apparently, very, very low attendance. A lot of seats still available. This past Raw, which was yesterday, the lowest viewed Raw, I think. That wasn't a holiday. The viewership is going down. What else? What else? What more do you want to show that you need to pull the trigger? I mean, where are the supporters then to explain that without having to bash on like AEW or New Japan or anything like that? Well, where's the defense there? People aren't watching anymore. People aren't going to the show. Defend that. Where are you for that? I don't know. Maybe they are loading up. Hopefully, they're going to be forced to do something come October, man, because AEW is loading up, and their next move, AEW, is Fyter Fest is going to be free, streaming on the Bleacher Report app. So that's awesome. Coming off of Double or Nothing, where everybody was yelling about, or the haters were yelling about the $60 price. People still ordered, by the way. We ordered and watched it and loved it. And the next event is a free one. That's pretty cool. You know, like, what a way to give back to fans and to make the next one a free stream. And I know it's not a big, huge event, but it's the next event. You're still gonna have fun matchups. It seems like right now they're definitely trying to appeal to the fans and trying to pick up the disenchant. Am I saying that right? The angry fans and the pissed off fans that are tired of the WWE crap and are looking for something else. So smart on them. Very very clever strategy that they're doing right there. So you got to give it up for AEW for that, even if you don't like them or not. So New Japan is on the rise. AEW is making moves. Ring of Honor, not sure, because the only thing I've heard of from Ring of Honor lately, nothing with the talent. It has everything to do with the fan getting like yelled at by Bubba Ray. So go figure that one out. Impact is still around. Good for them. I think Cage is back or is on his way back, but I know that they have some fan incidents too with somebody spitting at Taya Valkyrie. So you know, it's a crazy time for wrestling right now, man. There's so much stuff going on. I just wish that a lot of the news that was coming out from these other organizations that are also in the mix needs to be more about their wrestling, because Impact's got a great roster. Ring of Honor has a good roster that, you know, they need to make more moves to get more people, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be wanting to sign to Ring of Honor too, because they also have exposure. So, you know, this could be very well be a 4 or 5 horse race here. They just need to take advantage of how hot it is right now. Start pushing the right guys, start, you know, the advertising on social media and doing that whole thing. The time to do is now, man. So, I mean, especially now that WWE is kind of taking a, you know, they're kind of down, I guess you could say right now. The time to rise is now and get in the race. So, hopefully we see some improvements from some of our other indies there. And I guess that's it, man. That said pretty much everything that I wanted to say. This was kind of weird doing this by myself. Got to catch my breath here. And let me know what you guys think, man. What's going on out there that I missed, that I should know about. If there's any links to any stories or any videos or anything you want me to check out, just put them right there in the comment section. Thank you guys for sticking around, man. I noticed the subscriber count is going up slowly, but hey, you know, that's fine with me as long as anybody's listening. I'm very appreciative of it. Hopefully we can get the guys in on the next one, and I'm gonna keep watching, man, because there's a lot more. So it was a fun last couple of weeks, I'll say that much, and hopefully this summer gets even more fun with more stuff to watch. Like I said, anything you guys want me to talk about for the next one, or any videos to check out or anything like that, your questions or your comments, just leave them down there in the comment box, man, and I'll be sure to cover it. And thank you guys for watching. Definitely more reaction videos coming up too. If you have any ideas for a reaction video or a subject that should do on this podcast, just throw them down there too, man. We're really open to everything right now. So, like I said, thank you again for subscribing and listening. And don't forget to follow the Twitter. Don't forget to follow my Twitter. Don't forget to follow the Instagrams. And subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll catch you guys next time on Strong Midcard Podcast. See you later.